Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dugout Football Channel. Welcome to episode 2 with a chat with ... This is a series which allows me to invite a Premier League fan on to talk about his club and his upcoming season and his upcoming expectations. And today, well, I have a very, very special guest for me. It is Mr. Antony Howard from Ant's Leicester Fan channel. Probably well known as LCFC boy. Antony, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, mate. And honestly, I'm just really enjoying this transfer window. And I think Leicester fans might be like the only fans in the country at the moment who are really enjoying this transfer window, because we've brought in. I'm sure you're going to get onto it a bit more later, but we probably needed 4 players so far. We've addressed 3 of those positions already. I'm a little bit concerned about a couple of outgoings that may happen, but the fire on Madison seems to have been put out over the last couple of days. And Tielemans today, James Pearce, John Percy and Rob Tanner all saying Liverpool aren't looking at him. For me,
yeah,
I'm in a brilliant mood, mate.
I can understand, because obviously my first question to you, because obviously last season was probably the best season you could get. I mean, you won the FA Cup, you almost got into the Champions League as well. Successful season last season?
Successful season, but disappointing at the same time. To spend that much time in the top 4 and then drop out on the last day for a second successive season, it's very frustrating. And I know we had a huge amount of injuries, but we needed one more point. And when you look at some of the points that we dropped throughout the season, Leeds, Fulham, Everton, Southampton, just off the top of my head, I probably could reel them. Newcastle at home, just to name a few. Turn one of those losses into a win or into a draw. We're in the Champions League, obviously, but it wasn't to be. And the thing is, we won the FA Cup last year, and I know to a lot of Big Six fans that's probably not a huge thing. But to Leicester, to win their first ever FA Cup is absolutely huge, because that's the trophy growing up that I always wanted to see us win. Because the Premier League, it was never even seemed a possibility. So the fact that we've won that's absolutely ridiculous. But the FA Cup was always that trophy that a lot of Leicester fans dreamed of seeing us lift.
Yeah, definitely. And the one moment from that FA Cup final was your owner just hugging the Leicester City fans. You can actually see the togetherness of your owner and players. Look, I have to admit, your recruitment strategy, I think, is the best in the Premier League. I will say that now.
I'd have to agree. And the thing is, we buy so many players that are like the Rob Tanner's put it better than anyone I think I've ever heard is, but we shop in a different market to the clubs that we're competing with, because we can't spend the way the likes of Liverpool do, the likes of Chelsea, Man City, United, Arsenal, Tottenham and all of that. We simply can't spend in that way. And we've got like our own unique niche of bringing in young talent from across Europe that have got the potential to go on to that next level and then sell them on for huge money. And like Maguire's a perfect example. I don't think many people would have been looking at Maguire once he'd just been relegated from Hull. Now he's the most expensive defender in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, you managed to get 80 million off him, off Manchester United, so that's always a good thing as well. So let's talk about transfers. So, as things stand, you have got 3 players in at this moment. Well, I say 3, but 2 and 1, which is probably all but done. So Patson Daka for £27 million from RB Salzburg. I have to say, I'm absolutely gutted that we didn't get Daka, but you're like a smiling Cheshire cat. You must be very happy to get this one over the line.
One thing before we get into Patson Daka, it wasn't 27 million, it was 17 million. But
was it 17?
17 million, which if we get Champions League, I believe it can rise to 23. But either way, what a bargain. And I think he's the most liked player to Jamie Vardy. Like Vardy, Leicester legend, every Leicester fan loves him, but you've got to be real with the situation of the fact he's going to be 35 next season. He can't keep going on forever. But whilst he's still performing at a very decent level, I think it was a perfect time to bring in that successor for him. And that's what I'm hoping Daka could do, because his numbers are similar to what Haaland's was at RB Salzburg. So if we get anything of half of what Haaland's been at Dortmund, we are absolutely laughing what a player he looks like he can be. The Zambian fans absolutely love him. Obviously, he's their main man. And you see the amount, I don't always go by this because I think can be a bit of a false narrative, but you look at some of the clubs that have been linked to him in terms of Liverpool, Dortmund. I think one of the Milan clubs were linked to him as well. I can't remember for the life of me which. But when you get these caliber of clubs that are linked to him and interested in him, and then he comes out and says, "I've chosen Leicester because I see it as the best place for me to develop and the best place for me to grow as a player," that says a lot about where we're going as a club.
Absolutely. And another Frenchman from the French league. I mean, obviously you got Mahrez, you got Kante, and I think you might have got Ndidi from the French league as well. Boubakary Soumaré, I have to say that's a cracking signing again.
We also got Tielemans from the French league and Kante. We've had a lot of success in the French league, and Soumaré, he's a bit of a hybrid in between Ndidi and Tielemans in terms of effects, but he's got that defensive ability, probably not to the level of Ndidi, but I'd say very few players do. But he's also got that ability that Tielemans has got, to progress the ball forwards, to dribble with the ball and really drive and make an impact and push up the pitch. And again, for 15 million for one of the top prospects in the French league, it's not only just of how high his ceiling is, but the quality in the depth of that improves with us is absolutely huge. Because I think one of the things that let us down at the end of last season, it was the drop off in from our first team. I'd say can almost compete with anyone in the Premier League. Obviously, there's a few teams like Man City and yourselves, but we do have to counter attack against and sit deep. But beyond that, I'd say we've probably got maybe the 4th, 5th best starting 11 in the league. But then when you look at the depth below that, it's not great. So that's something that's been addressed a lot this summer.
Yeah, definitely. And I have put this as a question mark, but it looks like it could be a done deal. Ryan Bertrand on a free transfer?
Yeah, it's again, we've lost Christian Fuchs and Wes Morgan, two experienced heads. So to bring in a player like Ryan Bertrand in a position where we do need to strengthen in terms of depth, we've got James Justin, who's going to be out till at least Christmas, I believe, with his injury. And then also Luke Thomas. So Luke Thomas, brilliant, bright young prospect from the academy, but it's too much to ask for him to play every single game. So to be able to bring in a seasoned pro like Ryan Bertrand, who, yes, he's probably not the most exciting, glamorous signing in the world, but he's a solid signing that will help the squad out. Because as you mentioned earlier, we've got Europa League. That can be a killer on a small squad. And I think that's part of the reason why we didn't really do very well in it last year, is how small our squad was. So the fact that we're trying to beef up the squad with players like Ryan Bertrand, who I know he's 31 and stuff, but I don't think he's in his prime anymore, but I still don't think he's past it.
Yeah, he's a good backup, especially he did well at Southampton. He had a very good career at Southampton, so I think that's a very, very good signing. So as far as outs are concerned, obviously Matty James has gone to Bristol City, and then obviously you've lost two very good players in Christian Fuchs and Wes Morgan, and then Cengiz Under has gone back to Roma on loan. Were you disappointed with Under?
Yes, but it was half expected. Since Mahrez has left, we've tried so many sort of cheap right wingers that could work, that aren't really established names. It's for one player, we've sold a lot of players over the last few years, and every single one of them we've been able to replace and improve in that area. When you look at Maguire at centre-back, for the 80 million that we got for Maguire, we've brought in Siunchu Fofana. But that in itself, absolutely brilliant. I think Fofana is one of the brightest prospects as a centre-back in the league. But then you look like Chilwell as well, going at left-back. We've got James Justin from Luton Town and stuff, and I'd say that's an improvement in that area. Drinkwater go in, we get Yuri Tielemans in, but it's just the right mid spot where Mahrez was. He's such a unique talent, but it's just been so hard to replace. And I almost think that we're going to have to go against what our general transfer policy is of buying players that are promising youngsters that have got like that potential to go on high. And we're almost going to have to buy an established player because it is such big shoes to fill.
Yeah, definitely. So that's obviously all your ins and outs. Now, other outs could potentially be James Maddison. Can you see any other transfer activity in and out of Leicester?
I think there'll be a few fringe players like Rachid Gazelle. Looks like he'll be going to Besiktas, but I don't think there'll be too many main first team players leaving. Potentially Iosi Perez to Everton, which I think would be absolutely hilarious. I would absolutely love to see that. Like, nothing against Iosi Perez, he's just not at the level that we're trying to be at the moment. But with Maddison, if Maddison goes, I'll be disappointed because I think he's a good player, but he's the most replaceable out of our valuable players. I think Tielemans, if he goes, I'll be absolutely gutted. I think he's absolutely brilliant, and he's the only other one that's really been linked with a move away.
Would you say a successful transfer window would be to keep James Maddison and Youri Tielemans?
100%. I've seen a few Leicester fans saying that they wouldn't care if Maddison goes. For me, Maddison, when he was playing before his injury, he was the second best number 10 in the league behind De Bruyne. Like the numbers he was putting up in January, February and March before his injury were incredible. He came back after his injury. Obviously, I'm not going to get into it too much. The whole COVID party situation happened, which I think Brendan Rodgers felt massively betrayed by. And I think the season, if he hadn't got injured, he probably would have gone to the Euros. But after the injury, I think he let himself down massively. So I know he won the FA Cup, but if it would feel like after the 3 years he's had here, it would feel a bit of a sour way for it to end.
Yeah, absolutely. He did break COVID protocols as well, and I thought that was very, very disrespectful when he did that. But yeah, I think Maddison. I think he'd be a miss if he was if he left. But I don't see him going to Arsenal. I can't see Arsenal spending the money to get him.
The thing is, I don't think he would be against the idea of going to Arsenal because I think London lifestyle, being at a big club, that's all sort of stuff that he would like to be. But I can't see Arsenal spending what you see different reports of in between 65 and 80 million to get him. The thing is, it's not but the fee, it's the fact that we want that in one or two payments. And they like to do their payments across instalments, like most clubs do. But Leicester like to receive their money in block payments, as Man United and Chelsea found out.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go on to your first 6 fixtures. So it is Wolves at home, West Ham away, Norwich City away, Manchester City at home, Brighton away, and Burnley at home. How many points do you think you would get out of those 6?
So Wolves, difficult game, but I'm hoping that's a win. West Ham's a weird one because you don't know if they're going to be the West Ham of last year or if they're going to drop off slightly this year. But we struggled against them last year. So I would say if we could get around 12 points, it'll be a good start. But if we want to be pushing for Champions League, which is ideally, I know we fell short the last 2 years in devastating fashion, to be honest. I'd say we need to be looking at about 15. But it's hard to say because you could see a team. The thing is, like it happened last year, you could see us go away to the Etihad and absolutely batter Man City and then lose 3-0 to Fulham the next week. So it would just be the most Leicester thing. I don't know if you remember it a couple of years ago over the Christmas period. Like we beat Chelsea, beat Man City, lost to Cardiff, beat Everton. It's just like it doesn't make sense, but it's for Leicester way.
It is indeed. And then your last six, obviously going for Europe, hopefully, and going for the Champions League, is Newcastle United away, Aston Villa at home, Tottenham away, Everton at home, Watford away, and then Southampton at home. So on paper, that final six is quite reasonable, I would say.
That's the easiest. I don't like, because on any given day, any game can be an incredibly hard game. But on paper, that's the easiest running I can remember Leicester having for a long time. For the last 3-4 years, we've had most of the big six. You know, that phrase annoys me, but the big six, we've had a lot of games against them as the running. So the fact that we've got it, so I don't want to say easy, but we've got winning games to finish off the season with. So you could almost see it in a different light this time around, but we may well be the team chasing at the end of the season instead of the one team being chased.
Yeah, absolutely. I think look, I mean, to be in the top four last season for 37 out of 38 game weeks was very, very hard to take. And then, obviously to lose to Spurs on the final day of the season was really, really annoying. But you go into this season, obviously, with a Europa League group stage, so you'll be looking forward to that. You've also got the Community Shield on August the 7th, which is...
Can't wait for that. It's like again, like big club fans are probably thinking, like, why are you looking forward to that and stuff? And it's a pre-season day, a day out at Wembley. Like they don't come around often for Leicester fans. Hopefully, in the future, it'll be more and more frequent. But I cannot wait.
Absolutely. And also, your FA Cup holders, how does it feel to be that?
Yes, I'm a child and you've got to allow it. But no, it's just absolutely brilliant. And like, it's all thanks to this man behind me. Without him, we wouldn't be anywhere near competing in terms of winning the cup, competing for Europe, and really like mixing with the elite clubs in England. And hopefully, like the growth of the club just keeps continuing. I don't know how much non-Leicester fans have seen about this, but the improvement of the infrastructure around the club in terms of the training ground, we've now got the best, like the most expensive and the most advanced training ground in all of Europe. Like the fact that that's going to be a huge pull for players like looking at Leicester. Looking at potentially coming into Leicester, like to see that and see sort of how focused Leicester is on improving players and helping players develop their game. And I think that's a huge part of what Patson Daka was saying was why he chose Leicester, was to do with the facilities that we've got, the coaches that we've got. So, yeah, I know I've gone off topic slightly there for how does it feel to be It feels absolutely brilliant.
I know. Obviously, you guys at Beyond the 90. Obviously, Neil filmed the celebrations at the King Power, and I mean that video was absolutely bombed. 166k views, which is amazing. So yeah, it was lovely to see. And I mean, Tielemans has already put himself in Leicester folklore anyway for the winning goal against Chelsea. So, but yeah, I think you've got a good season. So with that being said, so you've got Europa League group stage, you've got the Community Shield, you've also got the FA Cup, also the League Cup. You might go far in that, and the Premier League. What would be your expectations for the season?
I don't want to say expectations because it makes me sound quite arrogant, but my hope is the fact that I would like to see us finish fourth, and I'd also like to see us have a go at the Carabao Cup or FA Cup again. Obviously, we won it last year. It would be brilliant to see us add another bit of silverware to the trophy cabinet. I'd like to see us go for the League Cup. I know a lot of people don't really care about it. I'm old school in that sense. I like to see us winning the domestic cups. I do think they're quite important. I'd also like to see us have more of a serious go at Europe this time, because last time we went out. We didn't go out like swinging like we did against Atletico in the Champions League, where they really struggled against us. Against Slavia Prague, we proper went out with a whimper. So I'm hoping we can have a real go at the Europa League, potentially push right into the latter stages. Because people forget as well, if you win the Europa League, I know talking miles away from now, obviously the competition hasn't even started, but if you do win it, it's a backdoor into the Champions League.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you think Rodgers will do his squads in the Europa League? Do you think he might rotate slightly?
Yeah, he did to the extent that he could last time, but we just didn't have the squad for him to be able to rotate. So he was trying to do it, and but we were at the same time we were ending up playing. Whilst he was trying to rotate, a lot of the time we were ending up still playing about 7 or 8 of the same first team players. So I think this season he was very much like he was fighting on all fronts with like one hand tied behind his back. So I think that's probably an easier question to answer after the transfer deadline day to see what our squad's looking like at that point.
Yeah, definitely. So top 4 finish, a run in the League Cup, a run in the Europa League, and hopefully you'll be Community Shield winners and maybe FA Cup winners. It's nice to be thinking that as a Leicester City fan. So I've got a couple of questions for you, and these are all on Twitter. First one is, how many goals do you expect from Daka?
Are we going to go just Premier League or all competitions?
You can say anything you want, my friend.
I'll go Premier League first season. I'd like to see him get double figures because I do think a lot of people are expecting him to do similar numbers that he did at Salzburg. I don't think he will, and I don't think he'll get the game time that he did at Salzburg. The form that Iheanacho finished the season with at the end of last season, he's going to want to be starting as many games as possible. Obviously, we've got Jamie Vardy, but just for prospect of imagine you've defended against Vardy for about 60 minutes and then you've got someone like Patson Daka coming off the bench. That, like, if you're a defender, that is not going to be a fun afternoon.
Yeah.
I'd say if he gets double figures, he's had a good season, but it wouldn't surprise me at the same time if he's like looking towards 15, 18 goal kind of range. But it's one of those, it's so hard to tell because he's been playing in a league, with all due respect, that's not of the best standard. So it's always hard to tell how players will settle in.
Yeah, definitely. Another question is, who do you expect Leicester City to sell?
As we've mentioned already, Gazelle, I think, will go. Potentially Hamza Chowdhury. I don't know. It's maybe Dennis Prayer. I hope he doesn't, because I think he's a really good player. But for the sake of his own career, it wouldn't surprise me if he did go, because like he's too good to be sitting on our bench, not really getting utilised. He's too good to be doing that. I hope that we don't sell either Tielemans or Maddison.
Yeah, absolutely. And one last question. Actually, there's another one which Rich has actually asked. Why is Enrod the nicest guy on Twitter? Which I thought was absolutely lovely. I did actually like that. But I'll ask this one. Do you see Leicester signing Ozan Kabak?
Yes. I don't normally do this, but I'm about 70 to 80. I'll go 80% sure that Kabak will be the centre back that we sign. He fits the profile of like the Leicester transfers of buying in young, promising players and then training them up, improving, developing whilst they're at Leicester. The fact that the fees could be as low as 12 million. Like I wanted James Tarkowski, but when you get a centre back like Kabak available for 12 million, it's hard not to take it, which is exactly what you guys have done. Yeah,
exactly. And it's obviously Schalke wanting him off the wage bill, so you're managing to get him for 12 million when I think he was quoted for 18 million, which we could have gone for, and we didn't in the end. So But again, it's more depth, and I think squad depth is going to be absolutely key for a side like Leicester City, especially with Europa League aspirations this season as well. Could you see obviously Söyüncü and Kabak being that first choice centre back pairing at Leicester?
No, a few people have asked that, and if we're playing a back four, my two centre backs would be the other two. Evans, I think, has to start. Johnny Evans, for me, he's the most underrated centre back in the league, and I think that's because we signed him from West Brom for 3 million. In fact, but we didn't sign him from Juventus or whatever for like 100 million. I think it's because it's Johnny Evans, but I think he's absolutely brilliant. Like, I would say he's obviously you've got Van Dijk and Diaz on that level. I'd say he's on the level just below that. I think he's absolutely superb. His leadership as well. I think that's something that's massively underrated about him. Obviously, Schmeichel's our captain, but Johnny Evans is one of the proper leaders in our squad. And then I'd have also Wesley Fofana alongside him. What a first season, man.
Oh, Fofana, fantastic signing. I've been very, very impressed with Fofana. And, to an extent as well, James Justin, who I thought was outstanding last season. I think he's been a big miss for you guys. Obviously, Pereira's coming back as well. So you've got players coming back at the right time. As well, so it's a very, very exciting times to be a Leicester City fan as well. But yeah, thank you very much, Antony, for coming on to give you all things Leicester City, and you're still smiling like a Cheshire cat, which is always lovely to see as well. Where can we find you on the socials? And actually, you've started some content on your channel again.
Yeah, 9 months later. That almost sounds as if it was pregnant and 9 months later it's come out. But no, I am back to making content on my own channel. Just doing live streams, having a lot of guests on, talking about the transfer news with players in and out of Leicester, and not just for transfer news, just all news and stuff. And when the match days start again, I'm going to be going home and away with Leicester City, doing match day vlogs, match reactions, and I'm hopefully, depending on how my bank balance is looking, going to be going into Europe as well. But that's to be decided at the time of whether I can afford it or not. But also Beyond 90 as well. Obviously, Doug, you've been a big part of coming on as guest for that. It's the podcast channel that we do with Neil, James, Alex, Rich, met loads of brilliant people where we do make slightly longer form content than what I do on my channel, where we look into a bit more detail about all the news regarding Leicester City.
Absolutely, yeah, and obviously go and follow Antony on his own channel. It's nice to see you back on your own channel. It's nice to see you streaming again, because I was actually wondering what you were doing with your other channel. But I like the change of the name as well. I do like that as well. And also go and follow Beyond the 90, who, it has to be said, have grown ever since that FA Cup video.
Yeah, that video. Well, there's 2 videos on that day. It just went absolutely amazing. The one outside the ground with Neil, fair play to Neil, straight outside the ground went once the game had finished, fans celebrating. Honestly, give that video a check. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm gutted that I couldn't get to outside the ground on that day, because everything I've seen of it looked absolute scenes. And like when we won the league, the atmosphere outside the ground was incredible. And it didn't look on that level, but it still looked very, very good. And then also the video of the post-match review, where I don't think we really broke down the game too much, because we were all just smiling, saying how brilliant it was. But both of those, is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, guys, go and check out Beyond the 90. I will leave their socials in the description down below, and I will also leave that video as well, the one that Neil went outside the ground. Go and watch it. 166k views, which is absolutely mental, but thoroughly deserved. And yeah, keep up the good work on your channel, keep up the good work on Beyond the 90, and no doubt I'll be on there at some point as well. But yeah, guys, go and follow Antony at all his socials, and I will be back with another episode very, very soon. Obviously, if you are enjoying this content, then please hit that subscribe button. It does and help out the channel, and leave a like as well. It does help me, and it does help my channel. Knows I'm doing a good job as well. But until then, it is goodbye from us, and we will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye for now.